Welcome, my name is Angel. Today I'm going to talk about ecosystems and communities for my final project of biology. To begin in this presentation, let's talk about weather and climate. Weather is the day-to-day conditions of the Earth's atmosphere. A region's climate is defined by year-after-year patterns of temperature and precipitation. Also, what factors determine global climate? Global climate is shaped by many factors, including solar energy trapped in the biosphere, latitude and transport of heat by winds or oceans. The next topic is niches and community interactions. Let's begin with what is tolerance. Tolerance is the ability to survive and reproduce under a range of environmental circumstances. Now, let's see what is a resource. Resource can refer to any necessity of life, such as water, nutrients, light, food, or space. This means living things need resources to survive. Now, let's define a niche. A niche is a range of physical and biological conditions in which a species live and the way the species obtain what it needs to survive and reproduce. Now, let's talk about why two organisms can live in the same habitat. Well, the competitive exclusion principle states that no two species can occupy the same exactly niche in the exactly same habitat at the same time, because one organism will be better than the other. Now, let's talk about predation, keystone species, and herbivory. Predation is when one animal captures and feeds on another animal. This is known as predation. What is herbivory? Herbivory is when one animal feeds on producers, such as plants. Herbivores and predators can affect both the size and distribution of animal and plant populations in a community. Now, keystone species are the most important species in the environment. These species can affect the structure of a community in a dramatic way. Now, let's talk about symbiosis. Symbiosis is any relationship in which two species live closely together. Biologists recognize three main classes of symbiotic relationships in nature. One is mutualism, parasitism, and commensalism. Mutualism, this kind of relationship between species in which both benefit. This means that both of the organisms have benefits from living close together. Now, what is parasitism? Parasitism is a relationship in which one organism lives inside another organism and harms it. An example of this one is a brown leech. Now, let's talk about commensalism. Commensalism is a relationship in which one organism benefits and the other is neither helped or harmed. Now, let's talk about succession. What is ecological succession? Ecological succession are a series of gradual changes that occur in a community following a disturbance. Ecosystems change over time, especially after disturbances, as some species die out and new species move in. There are two kinds of succession: primary succession and secondary succession. Primary succession is the succession that begins in an area with no remnants of another community, and secondary succession is where a disturbance affects the community without completely destroying it. This is known as secondary succession. The next topic is biomes. Ecologists classify Earth's terrestrial ecosystem into at least 10 different groups of regional climate communities called biomes. Biomes are described in terms of abiotic factors like climate and soil type, and biotic factors like plant and animal life. These 10 types of biomes is tropical rainforest, tropical dry forest, tropical grassland, desert, temperate grassland, temperate woodland, temperate forest, northwestern coniferous forest, boreal forest, and tundra. let's talk about aquatic ecosystems. Aquatic organisms are affected by water's depth, temperature, and the amount of dissolved nutrients. Freshwater ecosystems can be divided into three main categories: rivers and streams, lakes and ponds, and freshwater wetlands. Freshwater wetlands include an estuary. Estuary is formed when a river meets the sea. Estuaries serve as spawning and nursery grounds for many ecological and commercially important fish species. Ecologists typically divide the ocean into zones based on depth and distance from shore.